What up, y'all? Mrs. Zoo Nation, aka Savage Armor Junior Rafa. Welcome to another episode of Deck Building Thursday. Today, we're gonna be talking about Clan Collection Volume 3 and 4. This is gonna be more of a first impressions video because I want to do a full review, but I want to say to give me about like maybe a week and a half and I'll get into like a full review. It's just that I got like a lot of stuff on my plate and whatnot, and I'm still trying to learn all the other cards to Clan Collection Volume 3 and 4. But I wanted to focus on my main clans. So I have like about 4 of them, which is Tachikaze, Neo Nectar, Great Nature, Megacolony. So I just want to talk about the main grade 3s of all 4 of those clans and just talk about my first impressions of all of them and what are my initial thoughts, because I never got a chance to do it when it was like getting revealed and whatnot. So it'll just be a first impressions review for right now, and then I'll go fully into depth with them like sometime either next week or the week after next. And at the same time, I'm not really going to talk too much about the other 2 support cards or the or the reprints. I'm not really going to talk too much about those either, because I want to put basically all of my focus on the main grade 3s. At the same time, I do want to also talk about my sub clans that I also play, which is like both of the Ninja clans and kind of sort of Spike Brothers. So I want to talk about those 2 though, but for now I just want to focus on my main 4. So with all that being said, let's get this started. Alright, so first off, let's talk about Tachikaze with the military dragons. I'm gonna be real with you. This is a ride chain that I wanted to play for like the longest. I'm not even gonna lie. I like legitimately when I started the game back in 2014. This ride chain was one of the major reasons I wanted to start playing Tachikaze. Like this, despite the fact that Tachikaze was like, oh, it's just basically dinosaurs with fucking guns. I'm sitting here like, that's too much power, bro. Like, how you gonna be dinosaurs with like guns and shit? But anyway, it was something I wanted to try. But because around the time I started playing Tachis, ancient dragons were like the go-to when it came to competitive like Tachis. I decided to play those instead because obviously I was still learning the game and I didn't know like which to go to, so that was just basically everything to go to. But talking about this particular card is going to be interesting because I do like the effect, even though if there's any trend that I don't like about Clan Collection Volume 3 and 4 is the fact that there's a lot of restanders. I'm gonna be real with you on that. There's way too many restanders in like the set. Like basically almost every major grade 3 restands in some form or fashion, which I can kind of sort of understand the direction they were going with this, because we are playing Link Joker with the lock mechanic. So obviously every single clan has to have a way to play normally against Link Joker. But that's for like a whole nother topic. With the way this restands is pretty interesting in my personal opinion, because I do like the fact that you're able to engorge your units and then it restand if you engorge 5 of them. But I think what makes it more interesting is it has the mechanic that I was hoping Tachikaze would bring back. So if there's anything that I liked about Tachikaze compared to Shadow Paladins back in the day, was that some of the Tachikaze units will come back and revive themselves and then become either stronger or give you an extra attack. And seeing that not only not only Raptor Captain, I think that's what the grade 2 is. Not only Raptor Captain has a way to bring itself back as long as it has an equip gauge onto it. Raptor Colonel has a way to plus off of a unit coming back from the drop zone after getting, during the battle phase after getting engorged. So you're not only getting this thing where you're getting multiple attacks, like both in premium format and V premium, but you're also giving like a you're bringing back the old school tachikaze aesthetic with the new school, gauge mechanic, which is actually pretty good. But I think what makes this card a little bit more interesting, in my personal opinion, is the synergy it has with the previous support in Clan Collection Volume 2. I honestly think that both of those grade 3s are going to be like bestest of friends. I'm not even going to lie on that. I can't wait to really build this deck in both formats. I can't really wait to see like how this deck fares, especially in premium, because guess what, if you use like the original what was it, Raptor Soldier for a prime example, if you're using Raptor Soldier and you ride into like Raptor Sergeant, you're able to get Raptor Sergeant's effect twice, because Raptor Sergeant is placed on Vanguard. You're able to look at top 7 to search for either Captain or Colonel, and you do the exact same thing with the level 0. If the level 1 rides on top of it, you're able to look for either for any of them. So that's actually pretty interesting in my personal opinion. So I'm definitely down to see how everything is going to go down. But let's move on to Neo Nectar. Neo Nectar coming up with my baby Cecilia. I'm gonna be real with you. Cecilia is a pretty interesting card. I do like the way she restands, even though, like I said, I don't like the restand mechanic that much. But I feel like that it's a little bit more acceptable in Neo Nectar. And the reason being is because I feel like if there's any issue that Neo Nectar had, is multi-attack. I honestly feel like that once the meta started becoming more of you have to do a minimum of 4 attacks, that's when I started to see that Neo Nectar was slowly falling off, because they didn't necessarily have too much to really work with. Now granted, when we got Clan Selection Volume 2, we did get Maiden of Panoli that did give us multi-attack. Don't get me wrong on that. We did get multi-attack, so there's something to really there's something really to look forward to on that. However, I honestly think that this is slightly better for a few reasons. For one, Cecilia could go into any type of deck. It doesn't really matter. She can either be the main grade 3 or she can be the sub grade 3. And I feel like Maiden of Panoli had a couple of issues in my personal opinion. One, I feel like that she can't really be a sub grade 3. She has to be like a deck centered around her specifically. Whereas a Silvery Reverse, you can basically put her in any deck and basically get decent results with her. But at the same time, I'm gonna be real with you. I think this will be a little bit busted, but hear me out. In my personal opinion, when Maiden of Panoli made tokens after she attacked, I personally feel like if both players were at grade 3, that the tokens should have been 10k tokens instead of the 5k tokens. And the reason being is mainly because of defensive options. And I don't know, man, I just feel like it would have worked a lot better with the 10k tokens, but that's just me. But Talking about Cecilia, I feel like that after looking at her ability and trying to make the Musketeer decks, there's like a couple of issues I have with her. The first one is Vera. I'm gonna just be real with you on that. The main issue is Vera. The main issue is um Vera is a very good grade 3 too. She's a very good card overall. She's able to put stuff from the drop zone back to the bottom of the deck. She's also and put it back in the deck in general, regardless if it's a trigger unit or a normal unit. She's able to get triple drive. She's also able to not only, let's see, what was it, triple drive, and then she's also able to put all the power onto her so that the other two rear guards has the ability to actually get whatever power she got, which is actually pretty interesting in my honest opinion. But my thing is Cecilia Reverse is a hard card to pass by. So now my question is, do I focus more on Vera or do I focus more on Cecilia Reverse? But then I thought about something else. Cecilia doesn't necessarily require you to have a Musketeer Vanguard in order to use it, and then at the same time, I can always attack with the Vanguard first, get the triple dry check, and then able to use Cecilia's ability so that I'm able to get a second Vanguard attack, which would be pretty interesting. So it's like there's like a lot of questions I'm trying to think, like, how am I going to make these two work, which is actually pretty good. But then there comes my second worry is it still worth using the original Cecilia? I'm gonna be real with you on this. I've been thinking about this because you can ride any Cecilia, which means it can either be the original one or it can be the reverse. And I'm sitting here like, well, in order to use Cecilia's in order to use Cecilia's ability, you have to have at least a Cecilia get locked. And my thing is, if you use both the original and the reverse version, you're able to have a higher chance of using Cecilia's skill. So now, again, the question is, how accurate can you get her skill off if you're just using a play set of the reverse? And how much would you get off if you're using the reverse in X amount of the original Cecilia? I really want to know that. But that's it for now. Let's actually talk about Great Nature. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. I love Great Nature. It was literally the first clan I played when I started playing this game. Even though it's the second clan that I put most of my focus on. Right next to Megacolony being like the clan that I put my most focus on. And Great Nature, it's very strong in its own terms, which is one of the major things that I like about it, because like it may not be like overpowered like, let's say, any of the Paladin clans or, you know, Gear Chronicle back in its G era days, or even like Link Joke or anything else like that. It's always stayed in its own lane, and it's always had its own type of power, which either surprises a lot of people or it just gets over stuff randomly for no apparent reason. But Great Nature during V series is kind of weird because it was like it worked and it didn't work. And it's like the last two clan collection sets with Great Nature has been very questionable. Actually, not just the clan collection, but the clan selection as well. When you had clan selection, you had the Hamsuke support. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. At this particular time, I was wondering who the fuck asked for Hamsukes. But then it turned out to be one of the best decks to ever come out that set. So I look like a damn fool. Then we get Clan Collection Volume 2, where we get Chatnor. Chatnor being literally my very first triple rare that I ever bought for the game. I was very excited because I've been waiting for Chatnor since day one of the V Series reboot, and now we finally get her. But the problem is that Chatnor doesn't act like a main grade 3. She acts more like a sub grade 3 for both Isabel and Big Belly, because it's almost like she was meant for Isabel, but she also unintentionally supported Big Belly as well. And this, in my personal opinion, is the missing piece to set 11, in my personal opinion. But then we come out with Polaris, and I'm sitting here looking like, what the fuck is this card supposed to do? So I literally spent 2 days trying to figure out, like, yo, what is the purpose of this card, and why did Bushiroad make the threshold so fucking high at 70k in order to restand both the Vanguard and the Rear Guard? I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like that this card would have had a lot more value if you were able to restand the Vanguard, regardless if your opponent was at grade 2 or grade 3 or whatever. Let me explain. Because I know some people gonna be all like, well, that will be complete bullshit. I'm gonna be real with you. 70k is hard to get to. Like, you have the resources, which again, 90% of those resources are in set 11. But I feel like because it's 70k, there should be more than enough reason to actually not limit yourself for everybody being at grade 3 in order for the restand to happen. And I know what some people are saying is all like, well, what will be that'll be kind of busted, because then if your opponent's at grade 2 and they don't have the new grade 3 like Hill Guardian, you know, in their hand, they're just gonna die because of the restand, and that's way too much power to actually try to defend about, like both the 70k Rear Guard and the 70k Vanguard. I mean, not the 70k Vanguard, and the restanding Vanguard. I was like, you know, at least it would have been a lot more interesting if the Vanguard lost both of his drive, lost his twin drive, if your opponent's not at grade 3. It's all like, because like I said, 70k is a very hard and threshold to get by, in my personal opinion. And it's like, Great Nature can do it, but I feel like the wrong Great Nature cards can do it. It's all like, if there was a card that I wanted to hit the 70k threshold, I wanted to be a card that allowed me to prevent my opponent, like a card with a guard restrict. That's basically what I'm saying. If I wanted to have a card to hit the 70k threshold, I wanted to be a card with guard restrict. But instead, we have to depend on that damn wolf, the Lycanroc looking card. But I don't know, man. I'm dragging this way too far. But that's just my personal opinion. I feel like that the 70k threshold is easier when it comes to that Lycanroc looking card that comes out in set 11, but I want it to be something that has guard restrict, because I feel like if I'm going to be wasting all of this time getting to 70k only for my opponent to constantly just PG it, I would want a card that has guard restrict, so I don't have to worry about sentinels, so my opponent has to defend me with every single card in their hand just to survive or fucking take the damage. especially if this was a format like premium format where you have shit like Kagero that can just instantly blow up your shit for no apparent reason. Like honestly, I would want, if I'm going to be on wasting all this time getting to 70k, I would want to feel safe. But that's all I'm gonna get for Polaris right now. Just wait till the full review on that. I don't know. But last but not least, let's talk about Master Beetle. Now, Master Beetle, in my personal opinion, is a very underestimated card. I see very mixed reviews on it. For people who actually see Master Beetle for what it is, a lot of people says that the card is very good. And I 100% agree with that. The card is very good for a lot of reasons. It actually brings back the old school aesthetic of Megacolony. It actually makes Megacolony have a lot more focus when you look at it from the standpoint of this support and the previous support with Giraffa. And it get like, I feel like with both of those cards together, you basically get this thing where now Megacolony has a focus, whereas the previous times Megacolony kind of sort of was going all over the place. Like, let's be real, they went from, oh, I can minus 5k to your opponent's units, to I can mill you, kind of sort of, but it won't deck you out, to let's use the cradle marker mechanic and everything else like that. And then, oh, I can manipulate your damage zone. You see, there's no synergy in between the support that Megacolony's got. When you look at Giraffa, where it's all about paralyzing your opponent, and Master Beetle, that is also all about paralyzing your opponent. It's a little bit too early to say, but let's be real, this has been the most focus that Megacolony has ever been since the reboot. And so, like, basically what I'm saying is, this is a prime example of don't fix what's not broken. Is a prime example of don't fix what's not broken. But outside of all that, the second thing I've been noticing is that there's a lot of people who are trying to figure out why the card is so good. There's a lot of people who are in doubt and who is all like, oh, well, this card doesn't really seem good. It seems like the weakest in the set. I don't blame them. I honestly don't blame them. You have Megacolony, who has always been the underdog when it came to control clans. It's all like, Nubatama may have been like the closest to an underdog too, but at least Nubatama got some type of redemption for their loss, I guess, if you want to call it that. You know, Kagero has always been in the main front. Link Joker has always been in the main front. I guess you can kind of sort of count Narukami as a control clan too, but for this particular sake, yes, let's consider Narukami as a control clan. I feel like it's more mid-range, but that's just me. But then you have Megacolony, who, like I said, doesn't really have like a lot of focus on it or anything else like that. And it's like, it's very good. I mean, not very good though, but it's weird. Because like, they didn't really have necessarily any focus, and it's like, I honestly don't understand what Bushiroad was trying to do at this particular point. I don't know what their whole focus was, or their thought process, or why Megacolony had to go through so many mechanics. And it's like, you didn't even really give the mechanics a chance. It's like, we could have done something with Mill, but you never gave Mill a chance. You never really gave it any support. And the same thing with the cradle marker mechanic. You didn't really give it that much support either. You didn't really give it that much thought. You didn't really give it that much power for it to begin with. You just one and done everything. It was all like, on to the next mechanic, on to the next mechanic. It's all like, But you also got to remember that, like, once Giraffa and now Master Beetle came in, this is the new R&D department compared to the shitty ass old R&D department. So yes, I can kind of understand why a lot of people has doubt on whether or not Master Beetle's a good card or not. But you also got to put into consideration, like I said throughout this whole video, the main thing that I'm seeing in this set is every single major grade 3 is having a way to restand the Vanguard. And Megacolony was one of those cards that didn't have the choice. I mean, that doesn't have a way to restand the Vanguard. However, it's giving a minimum of a triple dry check due to its ability of gaining a dry check for each rested rear guard on both players' fields. That's what makes Megacolony very good, because an effect like this, if it was just the opponents, it'll lose instantly to Pale Moon, it'll lose instantly to Grand Blue, it'll lose instantly to any clan that can take away their whole field after using it during their turn, or at least not contribute that much, because then it'll just be all like, oh, well, all I gotta do is only have 2 rear guards and just like try to fight Megacolony that way. Okay, that's okay. I can basically work around that. It's all like, but nah, it says every fighter's rear guard, so we're guaranteed at least a triple dry check on each of the Vanguard turns that Master Beetle was on. Not to mention that it is a rear guard skill, so now all of those turns, like on Overwhelm for a prime example, like on Merciless Darkface for a prime example, or anything, or like even Gridora turns or whatever, like that didn't allow you to stun, you now actually have a way to stun your opponent's units, which is actually pretty good. But I'ma just end the video right here. It's going longer than I thought it was going to, so look out for my next review, and hopefully I'm able to do a podcast episode tomorrow. So see you then. If not, see you guys on Monday. This is Mrs. Z Nation, aka Savage Armor Jones Giraffa, signing out. This has been Deck Building Thursday.